The snow came down harder than anyone expected, thick white sheets swallowing the Wyoming highway as if the world itself had decided to erase everything that moved. And in the middle of that blinding storm stood a little girl with numb fingers and a torn jacket, tugging at the leather vest of a massive biker and desperately signing something again and again, her eyes wide with fear and determination. And when the biker finally understood her frantic movements, the words hit him harder than the freezing wind ever could. She was trying to say, "She's not my aunt." Before the story pulls you deeper into this frozen night, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe in kindness, second chances, and unseen heroes, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because stories like this connect hearts across the world. Earlier that evening, Lily Carter had been traveling in an old pickup truck with a woman named Marlene Hayes, someone the authorities believed was her aunt, but Lily knew the truth even if she couldn't speak it out loud the way others could. Because Lily was deaf and had learned early in life that adults often decided things for her without listening, and Marlene had taken her from a foster home under the excuse of temporary care, promising warmth and food but delivering only cold commands and restless driving through the storm toward nowhere Lily recognized. When the truck finally broke down near a gas station barely visible through the snow, Marlene panicked, shouting and pulling Lily along. But Lily managed to slip free when a convoy of motorcycles roared in, their headlights cutting through the white chaos like moving stars. More than 100 Hells Angels riding together despite the storm because one of their own had gone missing earlier that day on this very stretch of road. The bikers were intimidating to look at, tall men with frozen beards and heavy boots, but to Lily they looked like something else entirely, solid, unmoving shapes in a world that wouldn't stop shifting. She ran to one of them, a broad-shouldered rider named Jack Turner, and grabbed his arm, her small hands trembling as she signed frantically, trying to explain that the woman behind her was not family, that something was wrong, that she was scared. Jack didn't understand sign language, but he understood fear, and when he knelt down to Lily's level and saw the desperation in her eyes, something inside him cracked open. Because years ago he had lost his own daughter to the system, lost her to paperwork and cold offices that decided he wasn't fit to be a father. Marlene tried to pull Lily back, claiming the child was confused, but the bikers closed ranks instinctively, forming a wall of leather and steel as snow piled up around their boots, and one of them, an older rider named Samuel Brooks who had learned basic sign language years earlier for a deaf nephew, stepped forward and slowly asked Lily to repeat herself with her hands. When Samuel translated Lily's message, the air felt heavier than the storm itself, because now it was clear this wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a child asking for help in the only way she could. The bikers didn't shout or threaten, they simply acted, contacting local authorities, wrapping Lily in spare jackets, offering her hot coffee she couldn't drink but could hold for warmth. While Marlene's story unraveled under quiet scrutiny until the truth came out that she had been moving Lily across state lines to avoid questions no one should ever have to answer. As the storm worsened and roads closed, the authorities couldn't reach them for hours, and that's when something remarkable happened, because instead of leaving Lily scared and alone in a police vehicle, the Hells Angels made a decision together, one rider at a time, to protect her until help arrived. They parked their bikes in a wide circle to block the wind, started fires in safe barrels, and took turns standing watch through the night as snow buried the highway, and Lily sat among them, watching their breath fog the air, feeling safer than she had in a long time, because for the first time adults weren't ignoring her silence, they were responding to it. Jack found himself sitting close to her, showing her how to warm her hands. And though they didn't share words, they shared something deeper, a quiet understanding that both of them knew what it felt like to be lost and mislabeled by the world. Hours passed, and when rescue vehicles finally broke through the storm at dawn, they found a scene that didn't match any stereotype. A little deaf girl asleep against a biker's chest, surrounded by more than 150 men who looked rough but had stayed all night to make sure she was safe. Lily was taken into protective care. Her case reopened properly, and the truth of that night spread quickly, not as a headline about bikers in trouble, but as a story of bikers who became guardians when no one else could reach her. In the weeks that followed, Lily began a new chapter with a family trained to communicate with her, but she never forgot the night the snow tried to take her voice away and a group of strangers chose to listen anyway, and neither did Jack, who attended every court update, quietly advocating, quietly showing up, until Lily signed his name with a smile the first time she saw him again. Just before this story ends, take a moment to comment below and tell us what part of Lily's journey stayed with you the most, because your words matter more than you think. And now, as this story settles in your heart, remember that sometimes heroes don't look the way we expect. Sometimes they ride through snowstorms on loud engines. Sometimes they don't understand our language at first, but they stop, they kneel, and they try. And if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and engage with this video so more people can be reminded that kindness can appear anywhere, even in the coldest storms.